There's absolutely no way Stozer doesn't get dropped here. Oh my god, this is insane.
Main event's capped off with a war. Just give us your thoughts on Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett delivering a 5-round battle.
Yeah, I mean, what a couple. So Paddy Pimblett at the weigh-in yesterday says, I'm going to knock this motherfucker out tomorrow. And I was like, that's interesting. And he never abandoned that game plan. Even when, he got dropped a couple times, I kept waiting for him. I'm like, he's eventually going to have to shoot and try to submit him. Now, I didn't know Paddy Pimblett had a chin like that till tonight. And, absolute dogfight in a war, and much respect to both guys.
We haven't seen Justin yet, so we don't know what his status is physically. But, I mean, is the interim, is the unification fight have to be next? Or is there a case if he's hurt and needs to be out for a while?
Apparently he's 100%. So we sent Paddy Pimblett straight to the hospital, and then we're going to send Gaethje too. And Gaethje's like, believe me, I've been in plenty of wars. I'm good. So as far as we know right now, he's out.
Listen, Dr. Dre knows this. Scousers never go down without a fight. That's just who we are. We stand our ground no matter what. Damn. What an absolute legend right there.
Taking on the highlight, Justin Gaethje. Gaethje. 26 wins, 5 losses, 20 KOs. The dude fucking KOs people. Early on, he'd calf kick the fuck out of people. He'd calf kick people where they couldn't take it anymore. He had many TKOs from calf kicks alone. The guy is just a dense fucking ball of muscle, built for fighting, 37 years old now. He's crumpled people. Very careful. Flurrying, throwing his flurries on Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje will sit down and rip a left hook or launch a right hand. That's Justin Gaethje's ways to win. He could KO Paddy.
Now let's break down this clash between Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje and see how reality matched up against what everyone thought would happen. Going into this fight, you had camp split right down the middle. Some analysts believe Paddy's relentless pressure would dictate the pace, while others were convinced Justin's surgical precision and ice-cold composure would be the deciding factors. Time to dive into what the experts predicted and compare it to what actually went down inside that octagon.
Love to see fucking Justin Gaethje with the title around his waist. He earned it. Justin Gaethje's fought all these fucking monsters his whole goddamn career. Edson Barbosa, Donald Cerrone, Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Khabib, Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira, Fiziev twice, Dustin Poirier again, Max Holloway. Like, holy shit. He's fought the elite. So I'd love to see Justin Gaethje get it done. If I had to put, fuck, this is hard. If someone gave me $10,000 to bet with, and they said, hey, put it on who you think's going to win. God. I'm going to say 60-40. 60-40. 40% chance that Justin Gaethje knocks Paddy Pimblett out. Hits him on his chin, When Paddy Pimblett's flooring, hits him right on his fucking, hits him, gets dropped. 40% chance, I think. 60% chance this fight, Justin's not able to find him. It's a little bit, it's like a spastic, weird style. He's not able to find his chin. If Paddy Pimblett puts him on his back.
Looking at the pre-fight analysis, one perspective painted Justin as someone who systematically broke down his opponents with devastating efficiency. Those calf kicks weren't just strikes, they were game changers that completely altered how opponents could move and position themselves. Once he damaged those legs, Justin's hands became exponentially more dangerous. The biggest threat to Paddy came during his aggressive exchanges. When Paddy would explode forward with those wild combinations, that's when his chin became vulnerable. Justin rarely needed multiple chances to capitalize. He'd wait patiently, find his range, then counter with bad intention.
Will youth be served with Pimblett? Maybe. Gagey, experience, good striker. He's well-rounded everywhere. But he's got to use the assets of a smaller guy. We've seen it, where you got to box, you got to use your legs, you got to set traps. You know, he's got to outmaneuver, outflank Pimblett. You know, Pimblett, let me tell you, he has improved a lot over the last 2 years. He really has, bud. He has gotten better. He's gotten more. You could see he's come into his own. Confidence-wise, physically, he's in great shape. They usually all are. But he's improved. His striking has improved. He's a good wrestler, grappler. But he loves to strike. That's what's going to make this fight really interesting and good. They're both going to strike. I mean, for the most part, they're both going to strike.
Despite this analysis, the prediction leaned slightly toward Paddy based on how fights tend to evolve. Long battles often end up on the ground, and ground battles favored Paddy heavily. If Justin found himself on his back, it could turn into a grueling marathon that would drain him completely. Still, this wasn't seen as a guaranteed outcome. The fight was viewed as razor close, where one perfectly timed shot could instantly change everything. But when push came to shove, Paddy seemed to have more paths to victory than Justin.
Might be served here. But I would go with the over on this, because I think the over-under is like
2.5 rounds.
How many?
2.5 rounds, over minus 115.
All right, listen. Again, we have a pretty good record here, but, you know, I mess up once in a while. I do. Well, it's gambling. But I like the over. I mean, if Gagey fights the perfect fight, you never know. You never know. But I know who the judges are probably favoring. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. It shouldn't be anything about that. It should just be about what goes on in the cage or in the ring. But I can't help myself but think about things that I see. So maybe, you know, Gagey would really have to do a job, I think, to get it, which he could. But I think I probably favor Pimblett a little bit, but at the end of the day, if I had to put my bucks down.
Teddy Atlas had his focus locked on Justin's approach. His take wasn't about raw aggression, but about intelligent control. He believed Justin needed to fight smart, using movement, creating angles, and picking his shots rather than standing directly in front of Paddy and trading. Teddy also noted Paddy's massive evolution over recent years. He saw improvements in Paddy's power and striking technique, but Teddy pointed out that Paddy still chose to engage in unnecessary exchanges when he could have avoided them.
If he can eat it, I can see Paddy catching Gaethje and maybe almost like a Oliveira fight, you know, catch Gaethje, hurt Gaethje wobble, and then, you know, get to Gaethje's back or something, maybe subble. You know what I mean? Like, Paddy is very well rounded. You know, he out wrestled wrestlers, he out grappled grapplers. He stands with you. You know, he doesn't care. He throws. You know, everybody be like his chin is in the air. He takes shots, yeah. He takes shots and he still walks forward. How long will that last? We don't know. And that's the question I had to this fight. Or what his reaction is going to be when Justin Gaethje catches him. Because Justin Gaethje punches like a truck. He kicks like a freaking donkey.
The slight edge went to Paddy because youth and momentum tend to show up in later rounds. Justin's experience and danger were never questioned, but there was a sense that Paddy kept improving throughout fights. This is why many expected a longer battle and why Paddy seemed to have the slightest advantage going in.
For me, this is a flip up, bro. I'm not surprised if any of these guys win, because I can see two clear paths to these guys winning. I can see Gaethje catching Paddy, putting him down, finishing him. Then I can see Pimblett catching Paddy, Pimblett catching Gaethje, maybe knock him out or hurt him enough to where he can get a submission. I think so. Paramount, the UFC did a really great really great job of putting this first Paramount card together. From the main card, the first main card fight, to the main event is sick. It's going to be action packed, and you fans are going to love it. The new fans are going to love it. I mean, Gaethje is just violence. Paddy Pimblett doesn't run away from violence. It's going to be a fun fight. Like I said, I don't know who to choose. I'm not choosing no one. I see both guys. I think this is a coin flip. I think whoever can endure the more damage is going to win this one.
The key factor was whether Paddy could weather Justin's early storm without getting hurt badly. If he survived those initial exchanges, the fight dynamics could shift rapidly. Paddy had the ability to hurt Justin in those trades and turn those moments into dominant positions, either getting Justin's back or creating scrambles. At the same time, Justin only needed one perfect opening because his power could end fights instantly. Justin was described as someone who inflicted damage through every weapon, punches, kicks, elbows, and if those landed clean, the fight might be over before Paddy could establish any rhythm.
Let me get to the keys of victory for both these guys. When you look at Paddy Pimblett, the keys of victory, Paddy Pimblett has got to be dynamic. We're starting to see Paddy Pimblett become more comfortable inside the octagon. So the key victory number one for Paddy Pimblett is be dynamic, meaning that if Justin Gaethje puts you against the cage, don't be scared to do a flying triangle. If Justin Gaethje tries to go for a dump, go for a Kimura, because 9 out of 10 times when he does that, he's able to turn it into something that favors him in the fight. Key victory number two, grapple. When you look at Justin Gaethje's past fight, when people grapple him that have a good grappling ability, he seems to have hard times with grapplers, where people, when people drop him, Charles Oliveira dropped him, he crossed the volley, jumped on him, got his back, submitted him with a rear naked choke. You look when he fought Habib took him down, passed his guard, mounted him, got a triangle from top and rolled to his back. Now I feel like Paddy Pimblett has that grappling ability that can oppose some problems to Justin Gaethje, but
the gulp from this analysis, victory would come down to pain tolerance and mental toughness rather than pure technique. That unpredictability is what made this matchup so compelling. The focus shifted heavily to what Paddy needed to execute perfectly. The belief was that Paddy had to stay unpredictable and constantly threaten takedowns. The thinking was that when Justin moved backward, he often got sloppy, and that's where openings would appear. There was acknowledgement of the experience gap between them, but this wasn't viewed as a deal breaker. The assessment was that Paddy's previous victory still demonstrated real skills, especially his ability to dominate once fights hit the mat. His ground game was considered rock solid because technique and timing mattered more than reputation once positions were secured. The lean toward Paddy came from his freshness and recent activity. His lighter fight schedule allowed for better recovery and sharper preparation. The feeling was that a well-rested creative grappler would create problems for someone who preferred striking battles. This fight was viewed as a legitimate test of growth rather than hype. The concern was clear about Paddy's ability to survive 5 full rounds against Justin's pressure, even though he seemed to have the tools to stay safe early. Ultimately, Paddy got the nod because of his ability to execute game plans, but success would depend on maintaining that discipline when fatigue, pressure, and Justin's final surge kicked in. This made the pick seem calculated rather than confident. Dan Hardy backed Justin because he viewed the grappling threat very realistically and didn't see it as some mysterious new element. He emphasized that Paddy's submissions came from basic positions and standard chokes, meaning Justin had seen all of this before and spent years preparing for exactly these situations. This wasn't a case of Justin getting surprised by something unexpected. His entire career had forced him to drill defenses against these exact attacks constantly. He also examined the fight psychologically and felt Justin consistently chose the path that tired his opponents rather than himself. Justin understood early in his career how to build a style where he stayed upright while forcing opponents to deal with his power instead. This was explained as a patient approach where Justin relied on impact over volume. Even though his striking sometimes looked unorthodox, the results spoke for themselves. Bilal Muhammad favored Justin based on how the fight would look visually when Paddy absorbed damage in previous fights, seeing this as a major problem against an opponent who stayed calm and picked his spots with control. He focused on jabs, footwork, and leg kicks as tools that could gradually break Paddy down without Justin needing to rush or take unnecessary risks. He stressed that Paddy's best opportunities were on the ground, but he doubted Paddy could get there consistently. Bilal felt Paddy needed chaos and scrambles to succeed, while Justin's best performances came from extended periods of controlled pressure. If Justin stayed patient like in his previous fights, the match was become extremely difficult for Paddy. These were the expert predictions before the fight, each offering their perspective on how things might unfold. Now that the dust has settled, did your pick come out on top, or did the result catch you completely off guard? Drop your thoughts below and let us know who you had winning this one.